Hey guys, it's Yellowlord here, and today I am watching Devstream 139. I had a feeling it was Devstream 139, but point is, watching Devstream 139 for February 28th, 2020. So here we are, after another 2-week wait, we have an update, or a Devstream that is focused purely on changes to the older parts of the game, like excavators not scaling properly with the level of the enemies. They're going to address that. Shield gating is also being talked about. And also, it seems like self-damage will be talked about, but hopefully it's not just a band-aid fix, and it's something that actually will contribute to the game and make it less frustrating. But yes, I'm here because this actually seems to appeal to me. The thing I'm hoping for personally, as others have hoped for, that this is not a PR move. Because if it is, I'm gonna have some opinions about it. You don't mess this up, because if you want me to come back to the game for a longer period of time, you're gonna have to frickin' make this stream right. So, but yes, hello Rebecca, good to see you as per usual, because, you know, she's basically the star of these dev streams. I mean, pretty obviously. So, we may be waiting a couple minutes though. I'm going to drink some water. Now, don't judge me, but it is a pretty big bottle of water. But it's good. It's very good, so probably going to be drinking that a lot throughout this stream, because I'm going to need it. But yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what they've got for today, other than what's already been talked about. They have 20 parts in terms of what they're changing, which I hope includes the pet changes that are coming in March, which, by the way, that's in 2 days. So, not too far from now. So I'm looking forward to it. Whatever they have planned, because commands, I'd love to finally... Like, I want to actually be able to use MOAs, but until they put in commands, I'm not sure I want to go back to them. So... But yes, hello again, Rebecca. Are we starting? Or, because I will pause in just a moment here and come back when the stream starts, so they don't start in the next minute. The next minute. So. Yeah, she's having a lot of fun. Man. Actually, I'm going to clean my glasses for a moment here. Making sure those are all clear for the dev stream. Don't mind me. I do this a lot, so... Just go ahead. Okay, that'll do. Better than it was before, in my opinion. So, now I'm ready. Again, don't mess this up, D. That's all I'm asking for. You want to get veterans like me back in this game? Make this dev stream right. Here we freaking go.
The darkness. Light!
Oh.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Devstream.
Well, okay, no Sheldon and no Geoff, which probably means no pet changes.
We're going to be taking a deep dive into a 20-part dev stream, but as with every dev stream, we need to, you know, do our housekeeping, but we should probably do some introductions. To my right, we have esteemed scientist, engineer, entropy defeater,
Hi,
gravity
Steve.
manipulator,
What's up?
Esteban Sinclair. It's very nice to meet you, Steve.
Hello, Steve.
We're going to be looking at some graphs today.
Oh boy, graphs. My favorite.
They do. Chat, what is the stream about today?
Well, changes.
Right.
Old stuff.
The stream is about...
Freaking excavator scaling with a level.
I think they're
Lotus
maybe commenting.
Clem.
Because it is
Look,
long
Clem, that's
It is
overdue.
about Clem.
And
Reviews.
my sexy butt. That's right.
Don't think so.
I don't know about that.
Reviewing it in detail.
Yeah.
I don't know
is
about
about-
that.
Detailed review.
Yes. Well, you guys didn't do your homework, clearly.
Ouch.
No,
Rebecca with a
lenses in
burn.
These, but I still think, you know, feel smarter when I have them on. So
This is a Bloodborne gameplay stream, so yeah. Reworks galore. Excellent. It's about we're going to be doing some revisions and some reviews. We have 20 parts to go over, and we're going to basically 21 parts.
21. Okay.
After our the numbering system had been established, but we're just gonna go with it. See, chat is so far behind now. They're answering.
Yes.
It's cool. We're good.
Wait, how far is chat behind?
I think there's a lot of folks, so we're just getting to those now. Yeah. Okay. You guys are behind. That's a good.
Here we go.
Oh,
Calibration
real-time
for the
feedback.
stream. I know.
Okay, I'm just checking my phone every now and then just for
Anyway,
other stuff.
housekeeping.
But
Let's
anyway.
start things off with an absolutely crazy Nintendo Switch Super Smash Bros. Event. Which
Yep.
is live
I was going to
today
mention this.
for the.
She's in the game.
A limited time.
She's
You
in
get the
Smash.
Lotus spirit
As
by
a
playing
spirit.
Super Smash Brothers. So if you're playing Super Smash, if you have it on your Switch, you can.
Which is
right
nuts,
now,
by the
live,
way.
The event is live. It ends next week. You can get the
Excalibur
Lotus
for
as a
Smash?
spirit in the Spirit Battles for Nintendo Switch Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Which I'll probably just do it
How
after the
insane is
Devstream
that?
ends.
It's very insane.
It's real. The
Yep.
second I'm done work today.
Yep.
It's
All you
nuts
This
that
is all
she
you
got. I'm just glad Warframe is even in Smash,
Family thinks I have
in
a
some
real job
form.
because I showed up in Smash.
Excalibur for Smash.
Product.
Yeah, I know.
A Nintendo
It's like the
product.
only way to calibrate the work.
Excalibur
It's
for
like,
Smash.
oh,
I'm
no,
kidding.
it's
I actually would rather have
so-
Volt.
Yes.
If I had a
so
preference.
Pretty crazy. There's more to that than meets the eye. There is a altered state of sorts.
I wonder,
Oh,
what could be
very
the
good.
altered
Two-part
form
spirits.
of the Lotus?
Right.
Think about this
It's like
clearly,
a playable
everyone.
character in that game now.
I know. One day.
Anyway.
Can't even get Waluigi. What hope do we have? So today's Devstream is about reviewing.
Freaking
revising,
Lotus with the
refreshing,
bird,
we're gonna
or
go
sorry,
over
Rebecca
first
with the
main
bird.
You said that. I didn't want you to
We
say
can't have
that.
Waluigi, so let's just
Why?
freaking
She's
get
been saying
Lotus'
this.
Spear instead.
I thought fighting entropy was way cooler.
Oof, poor
We're gonna be doing
Luigi.
that, but before we do that, a lot of people are asking when we'll announce
Let's
the
just put him in
ticket
Warframe.
launch date for TennoCon 2020.
Okay, anyway.
We are very excited to put tickets on sale, but we're holding off an announcement until we better understand what's going on with conventions and coronavirus overall.
Yeah, the
and just with
coronavirus.
the way things have been shaping
It is a
up
concern.
This week with GDC and PAX, we're really cautious, and we don't want the health of our players or our development team
Yeah.
at risk. So we're just waiting before we put the tickets live to see how this
Yeah.
situation
As much as I'd like to go, that is a risk.
essentially
It is a genuine risk.
go on or not.
Even though I know it's in Canada,
Bear
it
with
is a
us as
risk.
we
A lot of
are
players from around the world, mainly
I
from the
think there's
United
a lot
States,
of-
come on
a lot of
in.
people- I mean,
Or
even- they're
sometimes
even
from
talking about
Europe.
The Olympics, aren't they?
They are even talking about the Olympics.
So
Yeah, that's
be
nuts.
patient.
They could cancel it or move it.
Yeah, so as
Just
you
because
know,
of coronavirus,
worst
which
case scenario, we'll do some
it's-
crazy online thing,
It's
right?
spreading. It's easy to
yeah, no matter what,
spread.
there will be
Yeah.
something.
But point is,
physical,
the health
there
of
will
people
be
matter.
a
So
10
that should
event.
come
It
first.
could just be digital.
So that's all I'm going to say on it,
Steve.
though, because I've been well aware of
24 hours,
it.
Steve's right.
Exactly.
So-
The best. The best. So yes, if you're looking
It's not the best.
the Lotus Spirit in the Spirits in Black event in Super Smash ends March 4th. So that's when you have until to get it. 2 alerts after the stream. Easy alert for a build forma. The harder alert for an Orc and Catalyst blueprint. So
Okay, so we got some stuff
play
to go
24-hour
after once
alerts
this is
for the
over.
stream. We have 3 giveaways of Platinum for the stream and 1 of Prime Access, so that'll happen randomly throughout the stream. If you're watching logged in on Twitch or Mixer, you'll have a chance to win. There is a drop today. We did a poll on Twitter, Life versus Death, Oberon versus Necros Noggles. Death won. Necros Noggle it is.
Okay.
Can you believe it?
People prefer Necros over
can?
Oberon. I'm not
It's
surprised.
easy, I like it.
Speaking of which, can they make it so freaking Oberon
All
doesn't
right,
heal his
now
shadows?
Let's get to it. 20 parts
Make
is
him
what we
drain his
said.
energy, but
Now it's time for
anyways.
21 parts now. It's 20 plus.
I hope that includes companions, even though Sheldon's not here.
Bonus parts, let's look at the agenda.
Where are we starting?
The agenda.
I didn't
agenda.
approve
Let me
this,
see.
I didn't approve this.
I approved it.
There's
No,
an
I
agenda again.
And
There is
there's
an agenda.
nothing about
so we are
that.
gonna go
All right,
over
great,
What is
great.
coming for each of these 20 topics, and we'll talk a little bit about why for each.
All these
Where
other
we can
changes are
support
great,
these
but of
topics
course,
with gameplay,
there's
we will do so.
nothing about
Where we can
companions.
support with graphs or assets, we will do so. So let's take a look at the fact that for this stream, we're going to be talking about Railjack onboarding changes, Railjack bug fixes, armor health shield
This looks
changes,
really
defensive
promising,
damage
though,
changes,
not
AI
gonna lie.
changes, shield gaining, self-damage, excavator health, shield scaling changes, Titania and Bobon tweak/changes, reward changes for base nodes, select UI changes from the workshop that's live, 100 times.
Wow,
resource
people are
blueprints,
excited about the
assemble
FOB
mods,
increase.
arcane changes greater than 100%
Jeez.
status having meaning, status mod buffs, grenade markers.
Shotgun status.
Shotgun status is within the
Yep.
greater than 100%.
Yeah, these look really
Grenade
promising,
markers,
all of
Kugelage
these changes
rumors,
to make the
slash
game
fixes,
better.
Deferred rendering opt-in, HDR preview opt-in, closing, and then a bonus item about FOV increases. All right.
And if there's time,
This is
Scarlet
going to be
Spear.
amazingly exciting.
And quick.
Every now and then we'll
Yep.
sneak something in for Jeff because he didn't come. All right, we'll do something that Jeff will get mad at.
What about
Such
the
as-
companions?
We'll do that at the end. Some bonus.
This is going to be, I think, a dry stream.
No, it's not.
But I think
Steve,
it's,
please.
For me,
I'm reading.
Scott, come
I started reading
on.
Brian Greene's End of Time, and this morning on my way into work, I was thinking about. I'm reading the chapters about entropy, which I barely understand, and I think the goal with what we're doing, and the reason why we're doing it, I think can be summed up with fighting the entropy of the many good game design systems we've accrued over the many, many years, and finally saying, okay, let's take a look at the things that are creating a lot of inconsistency with how powers interact and how the damage system interacts, and starting to actually fix them, which is nerve-wracking. So we wanted to get in front of you guys, explain what we're doing and why. It's going to change the meta of Warframe.
Okay.
Some of the things...
That's probably good.
Some of the feedback we have gotten internally is, this arcane's broken, and here's the proposed fix, but then I'll have to change my build with the broken arcane. So there is going to be a little bit of patience and kind of openness on your part to sustain these changes. We think they're going to be for the better. But this is a conversation with you guys and with our audience about what we're doing. But that's the kind of long and short of it, I think, is to fight the entropy and really face some things that have been kind of getting crusty for years over the life of the game. Yeah, shake off the rust.
Oh yeah.
We do have obviously more in the works that is, I suppose, would be we have new content and that sort of thing. We're not going to be really talking a lot about that today because we wanted to give you guys a heads up about the design and the fundamental changes that we're working on.
Exactly.
I think that's
and
fair.
We'll kick off a platinum prize
Honestly.
after that.
And we're going to bribe you all stream.
We're going to bribe you all stream.
We are going to double the platinum prizes
No,
for this
we're
stream.
not. No,
Oh
we
my.
are. Okay, we are.
We're going to double the platinum prize for this stream.
2,000 platinum?
Because if you're watching this
6,
boring stream
1,000.
with
It's
all the
not
stats,
Will
boring.
Moisty
It's
333
not
and
to
Soul
be paid
Bavaria.
or a
Good
chance
job.
to be paid.
every
You won.
graph equals a platinum prize.
doing 6 prizes or 3 prizes?
Well,
6 prizes.
6 prizes.
6 prizes.
Thanks, Dean.
so Lil
Gambling.
Moisty
I'm
has
kidding.
won 333.
Also not
Oh,
right.
right. No.
And
Lil
bribery.
Moisty 333 has won 1,000 platinum on Twitch, and Soul Riveria on Mixer has won 1,000 platinum. It's not boring, and in case you are have been convinced by Steve that it somehow will be boring, we have a little bit of that sizzle to start things off to give you the date expectations for the content updates.
Okay.
So let's quickly just drop that in.
All right.
We can take a look at the fact that in early March you will be getting Operation Scarlet Spear. This is the biggest
Okay.
lore event.
So probably not until April then
a
for the
long time
companion
for Warframe.
changes.
And hopefully you guys will have a chance to check it out. When it launches, you'll enjoy what the
Can I pump that a little bit more?
hell yeah, brother.
So Operation Scarlet Spear is the first rollout of Squad Link
Yes.
that we showed last year, which will be, I think if you squint at the picture, you'll see that there's obviously multiple missions that are going to be interleaved together.
And we can take a look at that live.
Oh,
on gameplay.
we are?
We'll just show the
We'll just kind
foundation
show
of it.
Yeah, so this is going to be a very interesting event, unlike any other, where there's real-time cross-mission Squad Link play that's going to be happening.
Okay.
And then, in April, we'll have the Corpus Remaster and deep dive into the Corpus with the Deadlock Protocol.
With the Deadlock Protocol, we've shown a little bit of the art rework, but there is, I can't even believe I'm saying it. There's a quest that's coming with the Warframe for the Deadlock Protocol.
There's a quest.
There is
Okay.
a Jackal kind of...
We'll get to that another stream. This is
Okay,
not the content stream.
Okay, all right.
Cut
Yeah,
your
I was
cutoff.
to say,
This
we
is
have
not to
this-
be
we
played.
have
Time to
this-
focus on the old.
And then the
We
key
need
art,
to.
of course, for the upcoming Operation Scarlet Spear.
Yep.
Here is what awaits you, Tenno.
Okay, I'm scared. Then again, this probably means I'm gonna need to take care of Royal Jack soon.
And then we have,
which is great.
in addition to that, if people are wondering just exactly how the lore will get pushed forward, in addition to the event itself being a lore event, there will also be a on login. For some players, we're still figuring out the exact details, but if you open the mockup V2, you can see that there's going to be a third connecting piece to the Chimera prologue, the Era prologue, and then there's going to be a third piece releasing with Operation Scarlet Spear.
Right, because New War is
Ooh.
basically chapters. That's
Yeah.
why we're presenting it this way. This isn't Chimera Prologue. This is New War and the components to it.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to, I know a lot of you have missed the Era
Yes.
story reveal.
Yes, which is a perfect
Which-
place to start off our agenda. Sorry, but you can say something.
As Steve
Was that
is
intentional?
about to drink his
Was that
coffee.
intentional? What were you going to say?
I was going to say, my tape on my glasses is kind of breaking. I was going to say that that stuff will be surfaced, and you'll be
Yes.
able to kind of click through those things and watch them.
Okay, well, let's...
Does that connect somehow?
Yes,
It does.
it does.
To number one.
It's literally the first thing on the agenda.
Yes, look how excited she is.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay, can
Is
you open
it-
the agenda again?
Yeah, what about pets? Pets 2.0.
Let's look at that agenda slide again.
Let's take another look at that agenda slide. So they're starting their own agenda. Okay, Railjack onboarding changes.
Oh, yes, okay.
All right.
Yes,
So,
yes.
all right, Dean, let's go back to the screen. So basically, we have a very awesome stats team, and over time, as we're looking for Era to be the connecting piece to the next part of the story that we're trying to tell with Warframe, we have basically come to the conclusion that the grind is too high to own your own Railjack. It did serve as a way for veterans to get rid of their stockpiles, but generally speaking, the fall-off rate for people completing Rising Tide is much higher than other quests because of the grind involved. So what we're doing is with the first mainline of 2020, so everything we're talking about today is going to release before Scarlet Spear. So all of these 20 things are going to come as sort of a revised update for Warframe, and then the content is going to come after. So everything today comes in a batch, and then Scarlet Spear will launch as an event.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Shake out the bugs.
Yeah.
Yep. And I would say I know what Chad is typing right now, which is, it's too hard to get a Railjack, duh. And we certainly did know that. Our stats team just helped kind of shape how dire the situation was. We all had the intuition, and we all did see the feedback as well.
So Dean, if you can come to my screen. Of course, depending on how big your stockpiles were as a veteran, you may not have had issues. So and there's going to be 3 exact states you'll find yourself in. You have not started the quest, you're halfway through it, or you finished it like myself. If you finished it, not only do you get the difference back in all the resources that you used to complete it, so this is the difference, which means that the sum of all the resources have a difference between them, and this is what I'm getting back. But you'll also get 2 repair drones just for being an early adopter. So if you're part way through the quest, you'll get 1, and if you haven't started, then you'll get the
What do the repair drones do?
We're fancy.
Yes. So that's what the onboarding changes are going to be to the Rising Tide and owning a Railjack. Yeah, so if you go to my... Pardon?
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a mail-in rebate.
That's a lot of credits.
Because you're an early adopter, you get... So in my case, because I've completed it, I have 22 attachments to go through. This will be dynamic
well, that's a lot of credits I'm getting back, so thank you for that.
Want to get
I appreciate it.
5.5 million
that grind is a pain in the butt, honestly.
If you want to get 2 repair drones, finish the quest before this update launches.
It was an honest pain in the butt.
Right, so that's the first thing on the agenda.
I didn't like doing index that much. So I'm happy to get those
Yeah,
credits back. Please, give me 5 million credits. I will happily take it.
And, again, what Rebecca's showing there is
free money.
we know that it was too much, and we are trying to kind of
Tone it down.
apologize by giving you a whole surge of some of those resources back.
Thank you.
And inviting more people to play.
Yep.
Obviously, fixes go with
Yeah,
that,
so
which is a
items-
huge component to the main line.
Oh yeah,
Is the
please.
Railjack bug fixes.
Yes.
So that is the second item on the agenda.
That's right.
The whys are not necessarily very deep. We just need to fix the Railjack content.
Yep, and so this year, I think looking at our bug counts, we've done a bit of internal restructuring and started to increase the amount of bug triage that we're doing, which is basically just another way of saying we've changed some of the management on how we are trying to fix the game for you guys. The other thing I think that's connected to that we're working on right now, which we are unfortunately not able to do in time for Scarlet Spear, is to have time-limited windows where we invite a heck of a lot more of you into the test cluster. So the team right now is working on this, where we're going to have basically, we have our trusted group of test cluster people that we rely on moment to moment and day to day, but we're looking at having, and of course they are careful not to spoil anything, but we are also looking at this year having a big surge of the number of people that we're inviting to play builds before they go out to everyone. So that's kind of part of improving our bug triage and
So playtesting, basically? Is that what I'm getting at?
To fix those bugs.
So stay tuned for how that will be
Yep.
rolled out. Because it's probably not going to be everyone in the world can
It
play
is
on
not going to be everyone in the world. It's
Yeah.
actually going to be quite small because the server cluster that the test stuff runs
So
on
they're making a
is like
test server to
virtual
test
machine
features,
running
so
on,
we're
I
not
think,
the ones
Scott's
testing this.
laptop
Yeah.
from his last
Okay.
job he had before he worked at DE.
From my iPhone.
So
Running
it's
off my
it's
iPhone.
a little underpowered. But it
Actual
will be enough, I
testing.
think, to do an order of magnitude.
I joined the cluster too. Maybe.
Speaking of an order of magnitude of changes, the item 3, armor, health, and shields.
Oh, okay, this is
So
big.
the history with this one is
This is
that
big.
right now,
Ooh, that segue.
Armor scaling.
The enemies in Warframe become harder to kill when their stats go up, their effective hit points. Their health, their shield, or their armor determines this. Since the dawn of time, armor has been the sort of...
Only game in town.
Yeah, the only game in town for...
That mattered.
That mattered, because it would scale in a way that made the EHP of enemies just very, very high.
Yes.
What this meant was your corrosive projections or your corrosive procs were the only game in town, and people just did not like that. They didn't like, not only just that, just the armor being the gateway for, you know, the lifespan of these enemies. So,
Yep.
what we're gonna do...
Yeah, I mean, as
Let Rebecca
in
talk.
differentiation of our factions,
Let her talk.
armor is- the way it's just
Steve,
mathematically structured is
please.
vastly superior to all other forms. We'll be getting to the other factions, mind you, in a moment. But the one thing that we haven't liked for a while is how armor scales infinitely into the sky.
Yes. Which, if you...
All of them do.
All of them do.
Armor is the
Armor
thing
is the biggest one that has the most dramatic impact on effective health.
Oh, jeez.
So
Yeah.
if you come to my screen now, Dean, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a graph that has 3 different things represented. And because when I hover, you can get a better view of which one we're talking about, for the colorblind folk, we're going to make sure that we're going to speak to what each line represents when I hover over them, so that we don't say the blue line or the yellow line. So the blue line, what does that represent?
Someone in chat loves graphs. That's awesome.
I love math.
The blue line is the current
My favorite.
exponential scaling.
So this is what happens right now with armor on an enemy. So level 100 enemy in the game has this much of an armor value, which multiplies its EHP.
And these are factors, so this is,
So
these graphs are made quickly, but this
Graphs
is
are great.
How you can see it.
They're one of the
scales
few
up.
forms of math I think are actually important,
There's no
just
end
in my
sight,
opinion.
Up and up it goes. You know.
now what we're doing
You
is
can picture that curve just continuing.
it
to
just
go
goes,
up,
goes,
up, up,
goes,
up, up,
goes, goes.
till it's almost going straight up.
Now, the segment that I'm hovering now has a slight of an S curve to it, as you can see here. Instead of it being a straight up rising ramp, it is a curve that in the lower levels, you can see a lower value, and then once you get to that crossing point around level 75, it starts to taper off. So this blended S curve is what the new math will be,
Oh my
determining
God.
enemies' armor value with level.
Yeah, so as they
So,
level
I
up
think
around,
that's good.
Yeah, as you can
To tell you
see,
the truth, I'm not
around
entirely sure, but that
70-ish,
looks like they'll be
it's gonna
less hard to
start-
kill.
The
So that's
growth
good.
Is going to stop becoming exponential.
Finally, we won't need corrosive anymore,
To
or as much
have
as
this
much,
diminishing
or just not as
returns to
much.
Yes.
And health and shields also follow the same.
This better feel good in
Health
practice,
and
because
the
armor
LDS
scaling, one of the biggest
is-
changes.
The slants are changed.
So, Gene, if you come back to us, we can just briefly explain what that means. So, you look at the graph, you understand on paper what's happening, and as Scott said, the curve for the health and shields will change a bit.
Yeah, the tail of the S would basically, for armor, it stays flatter. For shields and health, it will be steeper. So to make them a little bit more important as they scale up.
All right, and what
So,
what are we hoping
good?
this achieves for the change for the game in terms of
Balance.
the actual gameplay at these levels? Because right now, it used to, 5 years ago, 30 was sort of the cap, and now we've kind of reached territories where level 80, even in the high-end Railjack missions, you're getting level 80 enemies. In sorties, you're getting level 80 to 100. So in that range now, you'll be able to have a bit more of a build variety because you don't need to focus on corrosive.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly the intention.
Yeah, Warframe is a game of diversity, and there's 40 plus Warframes and hundreds of weapons, and hundreds of mods, and limiting it to a very small subset that actually can deal with the high-end stuff is wrong.
Yep.
So this should allow a higher diversity of builds to be viable in the end game.
Excellent.
Oh, good.
And this actually...
It is going to be difficult to predict because I think we're only on item 3.
Yeah, so there's a lot.
So I think again, if I think you need to, if you're watching at home and saying we've nerfed it, we've made the game too easy.
Just wait.
We got more to talk about.
Yeah,
this
just
is kind of
wait.
part of a larger thing. So let's keep trucking.
The one other change that's interesting in the the armor health shield conversation is the way that applies to you as a player. We've added a new Tenno label version of these stats. Up until now, they were shared with AI, which meant...
Yeah, so if anyone's really dug deep into the way the mechanics work about Warframe, there's like a shield type and a health type and a armor type, and those types on Tenno were shared with AI. So there was varying weaknesses and resistances to different health types that were shared with the base AI of the game. So you as a player had the same sort of shield as a level 1 Corpus guy, so you were more susceptible to, like, say, impact
Oh,
damage,
jeez.
just because that was shared.
Yes.
So we gave Tenno their own, which we probably should have done from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Neutralize that.
Yeah, probably should have, but
Currently we're
you did it
playing
now.
with, shields having a kind of a flat 25% damage reduction.
Yep.
Across the board for all damage types.
Oh,
That's
okay.
up for debate still as we're testing, but that's currently a way to bring more emphasis to shields.
Yes, and we're changing as well the recharge delay between a fully depleted shield and a just
Yeah.
partially depleted. So just minor things there. If you're able to sort of keep your shield up, if you get into cover fast enough, it'll come back faster than a full depleted shield.
Yes.
Yes. And of course,
Shields are
we'll get to
viable.
a section called shield gating later. But before we do, the infested are also getting a little bit of a touch up in their own section. We didn't want to overlook them on these curves by not only just changing their health stat or armor where applicable. We're also, because they're a close range enemy that telegraph most attacks, we are just simply increasing the damage of those so that if they have managed to get close to you, the parkour space ninja, they're just going to hit harder. So they're the mobility faction.
I mean,
defensive
simple
forces.
enough,
Stay
honestly.
mobile, bullet jump away, and
If we're talking about factions too, we shouldn't glance over the fact that the Corpus shields have generally changed. Most enemies now have a shield gate. They have a weak spot on them, like the headshot, that will bypass the shield gate.
Wow.
They have a bleed over, so if you bring your really high level Opticore back to a level 1, you can still pancake a level 1
Yes.
Corpus crewman.
Okay.
Using that weapon, because there's a small percentage of damage that bleeds over past the shield gate if you manage to take it all out.
yeah, and we can show that live too.
Yeah, there's also
We'll get to the shield gating section. It'll be full of gameplay.
You were talking
Okay.
about the factions, so I wanted to make sure that the Corpus was
Yeah, so far this
The
seems
Corpus
good.
are- and,
This
I mean,
seems
they're
very
about to get a
promising.
remaster,
I'm
so
mostly
you
just
better be
listening
prepared
in,
to
so...
fight those money, that cult of money, 'cause
I
they're ready
mean,
for it.
enemy shield gating is a little
So
but
another
as
thing
long as
with
it doesn't make
enemies
them
overall is
overpowered.
the AI aimbot thing. Sometimes you'll see players make threads saying, "Oh, the AI just aimbotted me out of nowhere," and
Yep.
what we've done in this case is we've reviewed the way that accuracy is tuned at high levels to change it so that is less of a occurrence.
Yeah, so when we originally obviously launched the game, the AI levels were kind of between 0 and 30
Oh, yeah?
as a baseline for testing and balancing. That's kind of what we were looking at. Over the years, that's grown quite substantially, but the data remained kind of clamping the aiming and the aggro system we have for AI from 0 to 30, basically. So we separated out the aiming from the aggro. We spread it across up to basically level 75, and we dropped the very high-end aim down slightly so that they're not so accurate and so quick to get that high-end accuracy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
so
just
the
sucks randomly
broader range of
dying
accuracy.
to like a
There's still
random
the factors
Grenier
of are you
Lancer
moving,
or Elite
are you
Lancer.
jumping?
Yes.
That mobility factors into how likely they are to miss as
Yeah.
well.
I think like a 75 or a level 75 Elite Lancer with the aim graph going, standing completely still, has about an 80% chance to hit you.
Yep.
If you start moving, that percentage dramatically falls depending on which parkour move you're doing and the velocity you're moving, at the distance you're moving, all the way down to 0. So they'll still completely miss you.
The other fix I saw go in related to this was the burst weapon stuff. Did you see that?
Yes.
Yes. Burst multi-shot weapons were the second and third shot were basically guaranteed hits.
Yep. Perfect aimbot.
Perfect aimbot.
Didn't even check the aiming
Yeah.
system.
So the
Yeah.
Harpack, it's an enemy burst weapon, burst
Yeah.
and
So you
prime.
can
Okay.
imagine those the AI types that use burst weapons and be like,
Again, sounds very
Why?
promising so far.
Yeah.
Yes. This is actually really interesting. There you go, Steve.
I saw one guy had to go take a poop, so
Okay.
it's a mix.
Okay.
Okay,
People find it
alright.
interesting, but also
Great
people
to
pass it.
know.
Well, that was only item number 5.
Moving
Platinum
on.
prize? Let's do
Let's
it.
do another platinum
I
prize.
think every graph is a platinum prize.
Every yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Top
somebody
third.
asked about Pets 2.0,
All
by the
right.
way.
The So that's
Beacon
why the
Pachi and
enemies
PPL
feel so
underscore
strong.
Texas underscore
Oh,
Kings. Good job.
Patchy has one on Twitch, and
You
people
did it.
underscore Texas underscore Kings has one on Mixer. So make sure you call us on the Twitch whispers, on the Mixer messages to give us ye old prize. So that was just item number 5. Now we're on item 6, shield gating, friend and foe.
Okay,
So
shield
as Scott was
gating
just
time.
explaining,
They
the
brought
friend
it back.
aspect of shield gating is as follows, which is you as a player, your shields.
Yes, players now, everyone has a shield gate.
Shield gates. How do they work?
Let's go. Yeah, show me off. Show me. Impress
what is the
me.
nature?
Shield gate, yeah, so shield gate is if you have an active shield and you take a shot, it'll actually nullify all the damage. It won't spill into your health pool.
Good. It
Unless
is.
you're an AI, it will spill about 5%, you said?
Yes,
About
it's 5%.
So there still
Depending
is...
on a weak spot. If it's a weak spot, it's 100% spillover.
And if you hit a weak spot
So you
on
can-
a corpus, you can actually spill right through and do a one-shot on it.
Tenno don't have this
Tenno
feature.
don't have the one-shots. So it's going to reduce the sort of instant kill aspects.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
explored shield gating before, and Hildren went out with shield gating. I think the fix that has kind of made this more viable, a lot of our enemies in our game are very high fire rate enemies, right?
Yes,
So it's
totally.
a lot of bullets coming at a lot of time. There's very few that are just the one shots. The normal shield gate would block that one shot kill, but the high fire rate guys never really give you an opportunity to go, oh, I'm in trouble. So we put a very small window of invulnerability between when the shield gate trips to when it starts chewing into your health. So even in a high fire rate situation, players should be able to register that their shields are gone and start doing something about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very small though, and it's something we'll play with as we go, but it is there. So there's a
Yeah, rip
very small
bombards.
moment of invulnerability.
I'm so tired of dying to
And
them
people are asking
instantly.
about how damage will work with this, and the way that we're specifically slash and toxin. So the way this is going to work is it's going to be sort of archetypal. Slash damage will still deal damage over time to enemies with armor. You'll still get your slash procs. You'll be doing your dots. You'll be taking your slash. Toxin will still be direct to health damage, but slash procs on a shielded unit will now deal slash damage over time to the shield and then eventually the health if it breaks it down. So slash
Okay.
is very good against Grineer or armored enemies. It's still good
Wonder if
against
that's gonna
shields
nerf
if you
shields
take
or
those
nerf
shields
slash
down,
against
it'll do their
shield.
health damage, but toxin will bypass shields. So there's a bit more of a archetype across those damage types
There's-
as well.
Yeah, less blending, I think.
Yes.
Less fuzziness.
People are saying, is there a shield sound for when the shield gating is happening? Do you know if there is do you know what's happening right now?
We have there's been a shield sound. I think you guys are used to not hearing, or
Yeah.
used to tuning it out at this point. But there is a shield down sound that we can doubly confirm, and maybe we can pop it out of the mix so that we can talk to George and company
Yep.
and see what
Sure
they can
can.
do.
I think we talked about that on the sound stream.
George gave
2
me
weeks
these
ago.
glasses, so
No, he
I
didn't.
think
They're
he'll
Megan's.
be checking.
So if you want to come to my gameplay real quick, Dean, I'm just going to use a sniper here. This is a level 200 enemy. Actually, maybe I'll switch. This is a level 200 enemy, but if you don't hit the weak points, which would
You're
be a
gonna shoot him
headshot.
right in the junk,
I'm
right?
going to shoot him right in the jump. So that, the shield gate saved him. So the shield gate
Nice.
saved him.
You can see the bleed over as
But
well.
you can see the bleed over. So
Yeah.
it did eat into his health. So the shield gate saved him.
Torso shot.
But obviously the headshot would kill him. Had I landed just a headshot, which I probably could have just spawned 2 enemies.
Okay, that's
the
not
jump
too
shot would have been
bad.
Less dramatic.
That's just a level 200 crewman.
So had I just done a headshot,
Oh,
so you can bypass shield gating on corpus enemies or shielded enemies with skill in landing your shots.
That's right.
So
Okay.
that's sort of the intent there.
Yeah.
it's not a
Shield
weak
gate
point.
saving, not in the head.
And I
Nice.
think there's a little lore reveal there because we have confirmed that the groin is not a weak point of the corpus.
It's not.
So that's actually part of the lore of the corpus that you learned today. In real life, it is a weak point.
Yes, in real life.
Just
Oh, right.
keep that in mind, okay?
Kinda makes me wonder about the origins of the crewmen.
Self-damage changes. 'cause
Okay, this is
getting hit
big.
in the groin in real life would be self-damage, wouldn't it?
If you hit
Who
yourself
hits
in the
the
groin,
I guess it
God,
depends.
God darn it, Rebecca.
All
Come
right.
on.
So self-damage has been one of those things, especially with the release of the Kuva Brahma.
No
that,
Band-Aid mod.
Cannot benefit
I
from
swear to God, no Band-Aid
the
mod.
Cautious shot mod that reduces self-damage. That players have just said,
No.
just take it out of the game.
Yeah, take
So
it
we
out.
did.
Huh?
Self-damage will be removed from Warframe.
What?
But it's being replaced with a
I was gonna
self.
say, wow, you make
What?
some
What?
tall-
Oh, it's
decent
gone.
Corpus.
There's a
I know.
catch,
Leadership.
though.
You can no longer kill yourself with. You can come to the gameplay, Dean. You can no longer kill yourself with self-damaging weapons. So,
Or the Sentinel.
except for your Sentinel, that was on purpose.
There still is a skill component here
Yes.
to balance out the crazy AoEs that these have.
Self-damage
You
is
cannot kill
gone.
yourself,
You
which
cannot
is
kill yourself.
what?
Which is very important.
Yes, that
But
is.
Yeah,
Here's
finally.
this really powerful weapon.
Yeah.
Blow yourself up 90% of the time.
Yeah.
So what's happening here? So if I get, you know,
I mean,
let's
some people
get
are mixed
three-
about this.
3, 4, 5, 4 butchers. Let's just make them level 75 to do our new armor scaling.
Thank
Boss
Pablo.
AI. Simulate. Here we go. Skill component, which means I will demo this horribly.
I was
But
going to say this.
They're doing good
nice
so
video of
far.
this
I know,
as well.
which is actually my video.
Yeah,
But
use the
Yeah.
video.
no. So if I was, you know, playing a mission and I got too close, you now do self interrupts.
Oh.
You also did the cool version.
Self-interrupts?
Did you actually?
What was that backflip?
Yes.
You're not supposed to
Yeah.
demo that.
Yeah, you're supposed to show the full and then
Oh.
the recovery.
Oh, sorry. Well, I just wanted to look cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, guys. I looked cool.
Yeah.
All right. So it's auto. There you go.
You're
Must
cool.
be on for testing.
There you go. So you can do ninja recoveries from your AoE,
Oh.
blast
apparently-
rocket weapons.
So you just get
You
stuck in a
know, if you do the
backflip
recovery correctly, You
animation.
can also
It does
double
no
jump and also
damage.
dodge out of it as well.
Okay.
Yes. So it's gonna. Can you? Sorry. Can you say that again?
Said if you do the recovery correctly, you're still open for a double jump or a dodge out of it as well,
Ah.
so that you can parkour your way out of harm's
Yeah,
way.
Chroma's the one that suffers the most, though, apparently.
Holy shit. So, what does that mean for all your weapons that deal self-damage? They will all be transitioning into this stagger system, the interrupt system. You will be able to no longer kill yourself if an ally walks in front of you, if an enemy strafes you, whatever it may be. It's
Yeah.
going to have this new component.
Yeah, good. That was the main
Sentinel,
problem
your cat,
with
your
it.
dog, whatever it is. They will not do any mods that speak to self-damage will be adjusted to fit this new system.
Which is, yeah, I agree.
As
It's
a
good.
result,
They actually
all
did something
weapons
good.
have
But
had their
poor Chroma, though.
damage approximately that follow into this category approximately increased by 20%. But what's happened is we've
Chroma
done
will be
a
nerfed.
fall off radius for damage
Rip
overall,
Chroma.
so the nuclear impact site,
They,
and that's
they also had their radiuses.
Yeah, rip Chroma. That's the only bad thing about this.
radius is a bit bigger,
Chroma's gonna
more
get
damage,
nerfed.
but now there's a sort of ground zero
fall
point.
off.
I hope they talk
So
about
there's
Chroma.
also varying degrees of how you'll stagger yourself. So, for example, if you are just on the outside, see how I just flinched there? The closer you are to the explosion, the more extreme the stagger.
That's cool.
So if you're just, you know, on the outskirts, which I am here, you can see my Umbra just flinching. That's because I'm out the blast radius. But if I was right in front of this enemy, then that's when I would get the most extreme version of this.
Okay, so you just get stuck in an animation, which I guess is fair.
And that is how
You just get penalized
your
with,
self-damage
you know,
weapons will be
leaving
made
yourself
in
vulnerable.
the first mainland update of the year.
So chat's saying rest in peace, Chroma.
Yes.
Ah, yes.
Right? So,
Yeah.
have we got that in our notes? How that's going to work?
Well,
It won't.
it won't.
Yep.
Huh?
So,
So rep.
yeah, I mean.
Oh,
the
okay, so they're just not
reality
gonna
there is, do you have a
They're not going to fix Chroma. Okay.
Warframe, or do we remove
So
it
far,
to
that's the only bad thing
make
they've
it
done.
viable again?
Right. Right.
These are. This
This is the give and take.
This is the give and take. So that will be the case for that.
Chroma does need a rework,
How
though.
permanent that is, I mean, that will be. Self-damage is gone. We're going to have to see what happens once the build's live for maybe a
Oh,
week. We can
actually,
make
I'm going to make another
changes,
part
but
here,
it's not
so I'll be
gonna
right back.
A reaction before.
But I get the feeling.
With the